So I'm sure everybody has been made aware of this, but over on the JP side of things, if they're not telling us that the anniversary servant is going to be just bonkers broken, then I think this is definitely confirmation of that. I mean, again, we don't know who the anniversary servant is necessarily, but dude, this banner is nuts. I mean, these are just some of the best servants in the game. Even the 4 stars are really nutty, and they were just like, you know what? How can we wring some extra Saint Quartz out of our player base? I don't know if they were really expecting the, random mascot that pretty much nobody knew about to be like this, show-stoppingly insane servant that everybody was going to, go broke for. But I'll tell you right now, I'm a huge Type Moon fan. I didn't even know who they were, and so I didn't summon for them, right? But this, I mean, well, they've already stolen a little bit of my anniversary Saint Quartz, or pretty much whatever little I did have left, because these servants are really good, man. I mean, I already have Ace at NP2, and even without Oberon, I even did a video showing a 90++ clear without having my own Oberon. She's still able to get it done. I mean, she is just ridiculously good. The only fault that I guess you could give her is that she really does want to be paired with Koyanskaya, but if you're even slightly creative, you don't even need to have your own Koyanskaya, as I'm like literally living proof of that. You can get around with that. So she's ridiculously nutty, but then you have Summer Melusine and then Summer Castoria, who are just the best like single target and AoE arts units that we have right now. The only contention for Melusine is Summer Ibuki. Now, I'm personally leaning in the Summer Ibuki camp whenever I talk about comparing the two. I do give Melusine a little bit of leeway because instead of an 80% battery, instead of a 50% battery, my bad, she has an 80%. And then instead of having one power mod, she has an additional one against Chaotic, which is really strong. But realistically, I mean, I do like Summer Ibuki a little bit more. I mean, just having the Berserker super effective against everything. Even though Melusine does have really high base damage, I do like having the Berserker. I think it's really nice. And then when going into CQs, being able to remove all of the enemy's buffs, as I'm going through all of the advanced quests that I've missed so far on JP, is proving to be very, very useful. But regardless, it's either Ibuki's 1 and then close behind is Melusine at 2, or Melusine is 1 and Ibuki's right behind at 2. I mean, they're both ridiculous. Summer Castoria, they just lost their minds when they did this because she still gives the Solemn Defense on her NP, so she still protects the party. She has triple power mods, still has like the 50% battery, and then the team like, oh, let me just donate this 20% to somebody else. She's just filthy. She's so disgusting. I mean, she was like one of, not even just one of the best units in the game, but one of the best units that we had last year. You know, when we're doing top 5s, I don't think there was a single person that had her lower than top 3 because she's so nutty. But then you look over at the 4 stars, and the 4 stars are also all really nuts. Now, you know, Sith is effectively just, I would say, kind of an updated Saber Barghest in the way that Saber Barghest pretty much will not die unless she is one-shot. She is the queen of sustain. If you've been using her in the Grail fronts ever since we did get her, you would know that she is so immensely good for those. She is ridiculous. This one, you know, Sith over here, the Pretender, is kind of like that on steroids. She's a little hard to get a hang of, I would say, once you first get her, but that's just because she's doing so much. I mean, her passive skills are real skills as well. Like, her passive skills are like sentences in and of themselves. I mean, it's really crazy how much she's doing, but she's ridiculously good. I mean, Suzuka is just a really strong quick looper. I think people thought that I didn't think she was very good when she released because I was probably the most harsh on her, but that's just because she's the most normal person here. Like, you look at all of these servants on this banner, she's the normal one. She's just like, yeah, I'm a really good quick looper. It's like, okay, that's good and all, but everyone else is doing something ridiculously broken. I mean, Barghest over here can be an AoE or a single target art servant for you, and she's really good at both of them. So good, in fact, that I was able to get her to loop without a second Castoria because in order to test her out, I couldn't, you know, bring my own because I don't have her, so I had to bring a friend and see if she could still loop that way. And yep, she was still able to get the job done pretty cleanly at that as well. So she's just a little good, just slightly good. And then Chloe. All right, Chloe, I think, is one of those servants that people massively, let's just say, overhype how impactful they're going to be. Because I don't want to say how good they are, because Chloe is very good. right? Being able to essentially have a second plug suit just opens up a world of different possibilities. I mean, you guys have all seen Arash being able to do 3-turn farming. That's just hilarious. But is it something that you need to be able to do? No, but it is very funny, admittedly, and it's not bad. I mean, Arash does do some pretty big damage, and she also, fronts another NP damage buff, which if you're fitting Oberon into those setups, that makes those even better. It's just the problem is team cost. Like, realistically, you're just going to do something along the lines of, like, double Castoria plus Oberon or double Koyenskaya plus Oberon. You're not trying to fit in, an additional 4-star support and then maybe another, like, 5-star support or pseudo DPS to kind of, like, throw into the mix as well. I think once we start getting higher team cost, Chloe might be one of those servants that helps out lower end boxes, because then you kind of have a way to shimmy more of your supports around, and that might give you a little bit more leeway on some of these harder nodes. But if you've got like a just decent box in general, you're just going to blow the guys up anyway. Like 90++ is still going to be something you clear as you have been doing. But regardless, they're all really insane servants, and it just has me wondering what the anniversary servant is going to be, because this is not an overrated banner by any stretch of the imagination. If you go and summon on this banner, you do not lose. Like, even if, say, the anniversary servant is the savior of Quick Part 3 or someone that puts Castoria to shame, realistically, unless the content scales with it, you'll still be fine with where you're at. But a lot of these servants can raise the flooring on your account, right? Like Summer Castoria, very good into 90++, because not only is she pretty strong on her own with the triple power mods, but she can also help some of your other servants get that additional NP, and then she's very good going into CQs. Melusine, also really good in 90++, because she has that 80% battery. If she has to loop against 1 or 2 enemies, she's pretty much guaranteed to get a second NP off, because you're going to regen at least 20%. I mean, they're still art servants with Castoria after all. And then even if you go for some of these other guys over here, you'll find use cases for them. I mean, trivializes most bosses, has double roles. If you want to go for more like low-cost setups, you could do some funny things, again, like Arash with Chloe over there. And then you just maybe, at worst, walk away with a really, really strong quick looper, right? So I don't know. Let me know the thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who you guys think the anniversary servant is going to be? I'm not particularly sure who I think it is. I was planning on making a video maybe speculating on it, but it's kind of hard to get into without spoiling something, so I just didn't want to do it anyway. I was like, well, if I'm going to talk about who I think could be the anniversary servant by going into stuff that I do know about Ordeal Call and Lost Belt 7, I just don't think it's really worth it, because then the people that are going to watch it, the people that don't care about the spoilers, and I kind of want to get into a nice spoilery discussion with that, so I decided to put that one off. But I don't know. I think Olga could obviously always be a very, very strong one that we could get. I think Solomon could obviously be a really good, well, the Chaldean, I guess we'll call them, the guy that you see at the end of Lost Belt 5, and you see them in Lost Belt 6 for a little bit. Something like that, I think. I also am kind of banking a little bit for Scion, a little bit. Maybe an alter ego, because I think it's, in Melty Blood, she has the Dust of Osiris alter ego thing kind of going on, that we could maybe do something like that. I think that'd be very cool, unless that's going to be something they try to flip in FGO's story, which I'm not sure about that one. I don't really know, but y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. For all we know, it could be another Saberface. I mean, look, we've got 2 of them on this main banner. They're the 2 headlining units, are the 2 Saberfaces. So, I mean, they even stuck Melusine in the back, and she's the other 5. So they're like, nah, it's going to be Morgan. It's going to be Artori over here. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, late, guys.